Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Gitasha Sharma. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Friday, the 15th of July. 154 Indians evacuated from South Sudan return home. Pakistan misusing US funds to promote terrorism, reveals ex-Afghan spy chief. And for the first time, Pakistan fails to qualify for Rio Olympics. And now for all the details. Calling it a successful evacuation, Indian authorities on Friday brought home more than 150 Indians who were stranded in South Sudan. The landlocked African country witnessed deadly clashes in the past few days, which have claimed lives of hundreds of people.
There is a sense of relief among the families of 154 Indians who have returned home after being evacuated by the Indian government from violence-torn South Sudan. The Indian Air Force Flight C-17 Globemaster first landed in India's southern city of Thiruvananthapuram early Friday morning, offloading 85 people, and then in New Delhi with the rest of the evacuees.
Heavy firing and shell attacking was already going through, and the Indian embassy and everybody supported very much, and we already thanks to our Indian embassy and Mr. Sivumar, our ambassador, they helped a lot.
Indian government in its operation Sankat Mochan, which means overcoming crisis, had seen its military transport aircraft to evacuate its nationals from the African country. About 450 of the Indians lived in capital Juba, which is considered to be the center of the violence, while the remaining 150 stayed within the country. Even though ceasefire has been declared, the situation remains tense in South Sudan. The recent outbreak of deadly clashes between South Sudan troops of President Salva Kiir and forces supporting Vice President Riek Machar in Juba have killed over 272 people, including 33 civilians.
Moving on to news from Afghanistan. Afghanistan's former Chief of National Directorate has disclosed classified documents that reveal the nexus between Pakistan's inter-service intelligence, or the ISI, and terrorist organization in both the countries. A report.
Rahmatullah Nabil, the former chief of Afghan intelligence agency, National Directorate of Security, or the NDS, has released explosive documents divulging that Pakistan's inter-service intelligence has periodically and systematically provided security and secure zones to terrorists of the Haqqani network. Nabil also alleged that Pakistan has been using aid received by the United States for funding terrorist organizations, particularly the Haqqani network. The ISI not only funding these outfits, but is recruiting terrorists from thousands of madrasas operating in Pakistan, which are involved in promoting extremism, added Nabil. Another major revelation is that an official letter was written from ISI's central office in Islamabad, directing its official in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa to pay more than $2,000 each to the families of terrorists involved in Kabul airport attack. The letter was written just a day after Taliban militants attacked the airport on 17 July 2014. One of the letters released by Nabil shows that two key members of Haqqani network were shifted to Pakistani military base in North Waziristan. They were transferred in police uniforms to the army base. Although the authenticity of these documents is yet to be verified, Nabil has called upon the international community to designate Pakistan a state sponsor of terrorism.
Meanwhile, in Pakistan, people in Gilgit-Baltistan continue to suffer due to the negligence of the authorities. Several construction projects have been undertaken by the Pakistan government in the disputed region, regardless of the incessant environmental degradation.
Gilgit-Baltistan is losing its sheen as a hotspot of natural resources due to heavy investments by China in several projects in the region. Foreign investors have overexploited the region for economic gains, leading to ecological imbalance. Locals claim that the frequency of natural disasters is increasing by the day, putting lives of people at risk.
इसलिए कि हमारा जो रीजन है वो एक ऐसे खित्ते में वाक़ा है जहाँ आपको जो है हर वक्त कुदरती आफात का सामना रहता है। मिसाल के तौर पर हम में जो है फ्लड है। अच्छा, इसके अलावा जो दरिया का जो बहाव है, ग्लेशियर लेक ब्रस्ट हैं। इस तरह की जो कुदरती आफात हैं वो इस इलाके में कुछ ज़्यादा ही रौनमा हो रही है। खुसूसन गुज़िश्ता 10 साल में ये कुछ ज़्यादा ही इस इलाके में सामने आए हैं, इसके जो नुकसानात हैं।
The recent flash floods wreaked havoc in the region, leaving several people dead. The damaged road links and shut factories added to the people's woes, bringing life to a complete standstill. People living in the region blame the Pakistani establishment for exploiting the ecologically sensitive region.
Staying on news from Pakistan, all eyes are on the Rio Olympics, which will be held next month. And for the first time in the history of Pakistan, none of its athletes has qualified for the big event. A report.
Pakistan, a nation of 200 million people, which once prided itself for producing world's best hockey and squash players, is witnessing a downhill in the field of sports. The 7 athletes due to represent Pakistan at Rio Olympics have all been given wildcard entries and stand no chance of winning medals, according to the Pakistan Olympic Association authorities. Outdated facilities, obsolete training methods and lack of funds are to blame for Pakistan's sporting decline.
In our times or in the other veterans' times, they were used to get the regular jobs in big departments of Pakistan, like Pakistan Police, Pakistan Army, the big banks, national banks, Pakistan Airline, Pakistan Customs. That attraction is not there anymore. They are not offering the regular jobs to the players, national players. They are hiring them on contract basis, and I think that is one of the element. The youth is not attracted to play hockey.
In Pakistan, it is even difficult for women to pursue sports of their choice. 16-year-old Ikra Chandzeb, who wanted to play basketball, could not do so because the only hoop ring near her house was public and full of boys. She then opted for weightlifting indoors.
मैं चाहती हूँ मेरी तरह भी काफ़ी लड़कियाँ हैं जो घर वालों की वजह से नहीं आती। काफ़ी फ्रेंड है, मैंने अपनी फ्रेंड भी आना चाहती है, लेकिन उनके घर वाले नहीं मानते कि इस तरह की लड़कियाँ बाहर जाएं खेलें। तो मैं चाहती हूँ कि वो उनके घर वाले भी माने और वो भी खेलने के लिए आए।
While cricket remains the most popular game in Pakistan, other sports have faded from public eye. Athletes seldom compete against the world's best, as cash-strapped federation cannot afford to send them abroad or hire top coaches familiar with scientific training techniques.
Moving on to news from Bangladesh. Bangladesh on Friday moved to regulate weekly sermons in hundreds of thousands of mosques as a part of an effort to combat extremism. As a part of the drive, the state-run Islamic Foundation, which works as a watchdog for mosques and religious establishments, has prepared a sermon for the main national mosque, which it has asked other mosques to follow. The sermon, which was published by the agency ahead of Friday's prayers, invokes Quranic verses and traditions of the Prophet Muhammad to rail against murderous extremism. Local administrations, police and regional Islamic Foundation officials would monitor the sermons. The move comes after the deadly attack in a Dhaka cafe on July 1st, in which 20 hostages were brutally shot and hacked to death in the worst terror attack by Islamist militants in the country. The tribal culture in northeastern India is conserved and promoted by locals in the form of festivals and traditional rituals. A festival in northeastern Meghalaya, symbolic of ancient legends, was recently celebrated.
Bedeklam is a traditional 4-day festival celebrated by the Jaintia tribe in the northeastern province of Meghalaya after the end of the sowing season. According to local legend, a prediction claimed that the region would suffer a violent plague that threatened to wipe out the entire tribe. The festival is observed by the locals to seek divine blessings for a good harvest and drive away diseases. In modern day, the festival is also symbolic of driving away social evils inflicting society. The main attraction of the festival is young men fighting for the possession of a huge beam, which is characterized by spearing mud on participants. Youth from different regions of the province also present colorful 10 to 40 feet tall structures carrying messages for preservation of environment and importance of peace and harmony. Carrying a long tree trunk forms a part of the festivities where people believe that touching it would bring good health and prosperity. India's northeastern region is popular for its tribal culture, which has been kept alive since decades.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. 154 Indians evacuated from South Sudan return home. Pakistan misusing US funds to promote terrorism, reveals ex-Afghan spy chief. And for the first time, Pakistan fails to qualify for Rio Olympics. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time next week. Have a great weekend. Good night.